British Columbia stretches between the Pacific Ocean and the Rocky Mountains, where coastal cities, forested islands, and alpine terrain exist within a single day's reach. Ferries cross sheltered channels, float planes skim harbors, and highways climb quickly from sea level into mountain passes. What stands out immediately is how closely urban life and open landscape sit side by side. Along the coast, Vancouver rises between ocean inlets and steep green slopes, shaped as much by geography as by planning. Across the water, Victoria follows a quieter rhythm, defined by its harbor, historic streets, and steady flow of visitors arriving by ferry or cruise ship. Offshore, Vancouver Island extends for hundreds of kilometers, where beaches, rainforests, and small communities create a slower, nature-focused travel experience. Climate plays a key role in how the province is explored. Coastal areas tend to be milder than much of Canada, with relatively warm winters and moderate summers, though rainfall is common. Inland regions shift toward drier and warmer conditions, especially in the Okanagan Valley, while mountain areas experience colder temperatures and heavy snowfall. Compared to central and eastern Canada, extreme temperature swings are less frequent, but variation within the province remains significant. Moving inland, the scenery continues to change. Whistler sits high in the Coast Mountains, shaped by seasonal tourism that follows snow conditions and daylight hours. Farther east, Kelowna and the Okanagan Valley introduce lakes, vineyards, and rolling hills that attract visitors seeking warm weather travel. In the southeast, national parks such as Yoho reveal steep valleys, waterfalls, and glacier-fed rivers, where tourism closely follows natural corridors. Taken together, British Columbia offers a travel landscape defined by contrast. Coastal cities, island routes, mountain resorts, and interior valleys all exist within the same provincial boundaries, yet function as distinct destinations. From here, the focus shifts directly to these places, examining how each one shapes a different kind of travel experience. The journey begins in Vancouver, positioned on Canada's west coast between the Pacific Ocean and the Coast Mountains. The city sits on a narrow strip of land framed by water on three sides, with forested slopes rising immediately behind it. This geography shapes how Vancouver functions as a destination, where urban neighborhoods, beaches, ports, and trail networks operate within close proximity. Tourism here reflects that balance, combining cultural venues, waterfront access, and outdoor spaces without clear boundaries between them. Beyond its setting, Vancouver's appeal is reinforced by how easily visitors move through the city. Dense public transit, walkable districts, and clearly defined waterfront areas support short stays as well as longer visits. Areas such as the downtown peninsula, False Creek, and the North Shore each offer different perspectives of the city, from dense urban cores to residential zones that blend directly into forested parks. What matters here is accessibility, with nature rarely feeling distant from daily city life. Vancouver also serves as a natural gateway into the province's interior. Leaving the city to the north, the route follows the coastline before climbing into the mountains along the sea-to-sky highway. The road traces ocean inlets, cliffs, and river valleys, gradually shifting the setting from coastal cityscape to alpine terrain. This corridor is not only a transport link but part of the travel experience itself, marking the transition from urban coast to mountain resort. At the end of this route lies Whistler, a destination shaped almost entirely by seasonal tourism. In the summer months, Whistler operates as a mountain village focused on outdoor activity. Hiking trails, alpine lakes, and bike parks define the landscape, while the pedestrian-centered village supports a steady flow of visitors without reliance on winter conditions. The pace is active, but spread across the surrounding terrain rather than concentrated in a single area. Winter, however, is when Whistler's identity becomes most clearly defined. Snowfall transforms the surrounding peaks into one of the most extensive ski areas in North America, drawing visitors for skiing and snowboarding across a long season. The village shifts into a denser rhythm, with travel patterns shaped by lift access and snowfall and weather windows. Services, transportation, and accommodation are closely tied to winter conditions, creating a tourism model that operates with precision and scale during the colder months. From Whistler, the route bends back toward the coast, returning to sea level before continuing west across open water. Ferries and short flights connect the mainland to Vancouver Island, a landmass where travel slows and distances are measured less by kilometers than by terrain. The island stretches long and narrow along the Pacific, with mountain ranges running through its center and communities spread mainly along the coast. Tourism here is shaped by nature-first access, with forests, shorelines, and small towns defining most travel patterns. Vancouver Island offers a distinctly different experience from the mainland. Roads often follow the coastline or cut through dense forest, and destinations tend to feel separated rather than clustered. The west coast is more remote and exposed, while the east side supports larger towns and transport hubs. Wildlife viewing, coastal hiking, surfing, and marine travel are central to tourism, supported by a landscape that feels less urban and more transitional between land and ocean. Along the island's outer coast lies Pacific Rim National Park Reserve, where long beaches, temperate rainforest, and rugged shoreline define one of the province's most recognizable coastal environments. The park represents the raw Pacific edge of the island, attracting visitors primarily for walking trails, surf beaches, and direct exposure to ocean conditions. On the southern tip of the island sits Victoria, both a city and the provincial capital. Set around a compact harbor, Victoria functions as the island's main urban center and a key arrival point for ferries and cruise ships. The city's layout reflects its administrative role, with government buildings, museums, and historic districts concentrated near the waterfront. Tourism here follows a calmer pace, supported by walkable streets, coastal paths, and a strong emphasis on heritage and public spaces. As a destination, Victoria bridges the island's natural focus with cultural and institutional travel, offering a different rhythm from both Vancouver and the more remote parts of Vancouver Island. Leaving Vancouver Island behind, travel turns inland toward a very different side of British Columbia. Beyond the coast mountains, the landscape opens into the Okanagan Valley, a long north-south corridor shaped by lakes, rolling hills, and a notably drier climate. Tourism here follows the seasons closely, with warm summers drawing visitors to waterfronts, vineyards, and outdoor recreation, while spring and fall bring a quieter rhythm focused on regional travel and landscape-based experiences. The contrast with the coast is immediate, both in climate and in how destinations are spaced across the valley. At the center of this region sits Kelowna, positioned along the eastern shore of Okanagan Lake. Kelowna functions as the valley's main urban hub, supporting tourism with accommodation, transport links, and access to surrounding recreation areas. The city's appeal is closely tied to the lake itself, which shapes daily movement, seasonal activity, and visitor flow. Marinas, beaches, and lakeside paths form the core of summer travel, while nearby hills and agricultural land extend the experience beyond the city limits. Kelowna also acts as a base for exploring the wider valley, connecting smaller communities and rural destinations through a relatively compact road network. Farther north, the terrain becomes more rugged and less developed. Wells Gray Provincial Park introduces a landscape defined by scale and isolation. The park is known for its extensive network of waterfalls, volcanic plateaus, and deep river valleys, where tourism remains closely tied to road access and natural viewpoints. Unlike more concentrated park destinations, Wells Gray spreads visitors across a wide area, encouraging longer drives and fewer crowded focal points. The experience here is quieter and more expansive, shaped by distance, forest cover, and the sound of moving water rather than built infrastructure. Continuing east toward the Rocky Mountains, the setting shifts once again at Yoho National Park. Steep mountain walls, narrow valleys, and glacier-fed rivers define this part of the province, where tourism follows historic rail corridors and mountain passes. Yoho's travel patterns are linear, guided by highways and viewpoints that reveal waterfalls, lakes, and exposed rock faces in quick succession. Compared to larger national parks, Yoho feels more compact but intensely vertical, offering a concentrated mountain experience shaped by elevation, weather, and seasonal access. Taken as a whole, British Columbia presents a travel landscape built on variety rather than a single defining feature. Coastal cities connect directly to mountains, islands lead into interior valleys, and long-distance travel reveals clear shifts in climate, terrain, and pace. Tourism here adapts to these changes, moving between urban access, seasonal resorts, agricultural regions, and protected wilderness without losing continuity. What becomes clear is how movement itself shapes the experience. Ferries, highways, mountain passes, and interior roads are not just connections between destinations, but part of how the province is explored. Each region supports a different kind of travel, yet all remain linked by geography and infrastructure. This balance between accessibility and scale is what defines British Columbia as a destination. From oceanfront cities to remote parks, the province offers a layered travel experience that unfolds gradually, shaped by distance, landscape, and season. For more documentary-style journeys like this, consider subscribing to Wanderway and supporting the video with a like.